Queen Mary can be described as the goat because she has decided very aptly to create a new tiara out of some of the Danish crown jewels that haven't left the palace since 1950. Yes, there is sort of this ancient necklace that was technically sort of supposed to be a belt. And Mary was there thinking one day, what can we do with this particular item? Why? We can make a tiara out of it. And she is so right. The Danes are going to have their own version, essentially, of the Dutch diamond Bandeau Tiara. And I could not be more excited because I love the Dutch diamond Bandeau. I have a whole video on it that you can check out, and it is amazing. And Mary doing this, oh, it is just chef's kiss. So we will get into a bit of the history of these jewels because they are rather interesting, and a video that shows Mary, messy bun and all, trying on her new tiara. I'm like, "Ugh." It gives you all the tiara feels. It does. It does. It's so exciting. I love it when a new tiara is added to collection, and most likely 100% we shall see the tiara this week. That is what I'm thinking when it comes to the state visit between Denmark and Egypt, which I am planning to go to. So, as we get into it, welcome to Royal Fashion News. If you haven't been here before, my name is Brittany, and this is a channel for all those who have a passion for royal fashion, including tiaras. And this I'm recording on Wednesday, probably will get up on Thursday. So, this is Tiara Thursday. And oh, we have a lot to talk about. Of course, we have Queen Mary. We can maybe touch real quick on Queen Camilla debuting Queen Alexandra's Kokoshnik tiara. And we also have a state visit in Belgium with the Wolfers tiara on Queen Matilda. But we need to talk about this Queen Mary situation because this situation is by far like the number one. And you will be wondering where I am. I am in a hotel. So, not the best you could say setup, but tiaras are afoot. So, again, so exciting. So exciting. So, if you don't know sort of this story, it just sort of popped up on the feed, and it's almost so casual and almost looks fake. And so let's go ahead and take a look at the video because you really got to feel the video first, and then you can be like, wow, she did the coolest thing imaginable. So here we go, and we will go ahead and watch it. And as you can see here, there is this gorgeous necklace, but it's actually rather long. If it actually kind of connected, let's say at about here, the length it was, it would make sense. But it's an overly long necklace. So technically it was actually meant to be worn as some sort of belt, and we'll get into that. But Queen Mary was like, we have a bereftness of tiaras, and they do. So will this work for something? Let's check it out. So let's begin.
For første gang i over 180 år omformer vi netop nu en del af kronjuvelerne.
So I think he's saying there for like 180 years, this really hasn't been touched very much, which is very true. I believe this collection, again, we'll get into the history of these particular rose-cut diamonds, started in the mid 1800s. And they've been part of the royal collection for a long time, but they haven't really messed with them. And this is just a fabulous opportunity. And you can see actually the design right here on the papers. You can actually see the design and how they're working to try to see. We have a great example in a tiara in the Netherlands. Dutch diamond Bandeau. I'll show a picture of it right here. Very similar design. Can we recreate that with this piece? And I don't think maybe the diamonds are quite as big, but they have a pretty ingenious solution for that. So let's keep watching.
Sammen med dronning Mary genoplever vi hos Kongernes Samling en århundrede-lang tradition med at.
So there's Mary, and I love it. They're looking at the tiara right there, and you can see sort of the length of it. Now they couldn't use the whole necklace, but they used portions. It would be interesting to know if they could do some sort of like doubling, like having double rows of diamonds. That would be awesome. I don't think they have quite enough for that, but she's meeting here with the designer. I love this sort of casual approach as I look at this tiara and go, okay, how can we make this work? Because it's an ancient piece. We obviously don't want to hurt the jewelry, but we also need to move with the times. And the reality is, at least for Denmark, Queen Mary really has a few tiaras to choose from, like a very small amount. One is the Emerald Paré tiara set, which is part of the Danish crown jewels as well, and the Pearl Poirier tiara, both of those that she can wear. And then we also have the Danish Ruby Paré tiara, which she also owns. And that was actually bequeathed to her essentially through Frederick by his grandmother, Queen Ingrid. Because Queen Ingrid did something I feel like it's very naughty. She decided to give a tiara or a couple of them to each of her girls. Now, I understand why she did that in a lot of ways, but the impact of that is that it has really diminished the Danish collection, which used to be quite grand, is now much smaller. You had the additional problem of Countess Alexandra when she divorced Prince Joachim, that she took actually the tiara they gave her with her. She had this Alexandrite drop tiara, and she actually took the tiara with her when they divorced. And so it was just one of those things where it was just like, ooh, like this collection gets smaller and smaller. And obviously, with Queen Margrethe still alive, but she also has access to maybe one or two others, I think, that are personally owned by her. And then you also have Princess Marie, who has one tiara, the floral Dagmar tiara, the Countess Dagmar tiara. And then you really are looking at few and far between. So Mary has roughly, I would say about 5 to choose from currently. So to add this one, I think is great because actually Mary has 2 others that she uses, her wedding tiara, which I think is quite minimal, and she also actually bought her own tiara. It was actually damaged, so they had to actually go in and fix some of it. I think some of the stones were missing. It actually wasn't that expensive, so I'm like, "Well, I should keep an eye next time a damaged tiara comes up for auction, and it's pretty cheap. I can afford that." So, she got this one. It's really minimal, you could say, but really it's because she doesn't have a lot to choose from. She just had her wedding tiara, which I'm sorry is tacky and awful. I just don't like her wedding tiara. And then you have the one she purchased and the ruby paré. And the ruby paré is huge and it's grand and it's beautiful. And her wedding tiara looks so chintzy next to it. And then you can include her ruby tiara and it also looks really tiny. So she needs something more substantial. Obviously, she has access to the rest of the crown jewels now, but she is taking this opportunity to really expand on that. So again, let's keep going.
Omforme de danske kronjuveler efter tidens ændrede behov, samtidig med
So, and I want to point out this too, that this has a moving frame, which I find kind of interesting. I'm curious how it'll work on her head. Does it move too much? That's my question.
at det i dag sjældent benyttede Rosenstedt-sæt.
So I love how she's examining it right there. So she's really like taken this very much to the forefront. And you can see again how long around the diamonds go, which I think is amazing.
Bliver vækket til live på ny. Ideen er skabt i en fælles dialog med dronningen.
And so if you actually look at this picture right here, she actually looks like a lot like Catherine, the Princess of Wales. And they do share a lot of facial similarities. They are both descended from, well, Queen Mary. Her father is technically Scottish, but so she has a little bit of that English history to her as well. Though Scotland is different than England, I understand there's been some mixing though as well.
Om brugen af kronjuvelerne, og den her
So I love how you can see this. And I don't know if this is a part where you can see right here. So actually what he's doing, you can see, sorry, the little bases right here. Do you see those right here? So they're like little individual slots. And so what you do is you put the diamonds in each individual slot. And as they go into each and the individual slot, they're held there. And I think there is a way for them to screw in some elements of it too. But I love the simplicity of that because what you want to do if you're adding this is you don't want to damage the jewelry and you want to make sure it's doing well, but also that can be held and it's secure. And so I think this is a great way to do that. So I just wanted to point that out. We'll see that again here, but let's keep going.
lange kæde har stort set aldrig blevet
Oh, and I love this. Okay, so Mary here, messy bun, don't care. She's trying on her tiara. And I love that. So there she is trying it on. Oh, I'm really hoping this comes out for the state visit with Egypt because this would be a perfect tiara for that. Because the state visit with Egypt, this is like very last minute. It's rather strange to be quite honest. So I was literally on the flight on Monday morning, very early Monday morning, bored, couldn't didn't sleep much, and so I'm looking at this form, and like, well, I was looking at this announcement, like state visit. I was like, "What, really?" Usually they give you maybe 2 weeks more, but like this was just like it starts on Friday. They announced it on Monday, so very short time frame. And so that they're releasing this now, I think, is a precursor to her actually wearing it that evening. And I am so incredibly excited for that. So incredibly excited for that. It's going to be amazing. So stoked.
brugt i næsten flere generationer.
Oh, so see, I love it how she has her messy bun on and they're like, "Oh, you can see it." And you can see again how, and go back because I like kind of examining this. So you can see sort of the placement on her head here, how far down the diamonds go, which is amazing. And it looks superb. It looks superb.
Og hvor det opstod altså ud fra en dialog med dronningen.
And then you can see it there as well. I think it's a great piece. In that angle right there, it almost looks like a headband. So I'm curious how that will be a bit different, or how she will make it work with, you could say, the normal royal hair. Obviously, as well, here we can see the wire. And I doubt we would be able to see this wire, this lower wire here, when it'll probably be covered in felt, I would imagine. This also leaves an option to maybe add a smaller set down below. Because what's really interesting here is that the Dutch diamond bandeau sits like right on the head. There's not much height given to it. Whereas this one, they've given it sort of an interesting base and top, so it can have some height and movement. And then you also have here this different wire. And so this will be covered in felt or something to that effect, so she can wear it more comfortably on her head. And it looks like a headband here, so I'm just really excited to see how it will look when it's on her. And it also, again, they put it on like this higher plane, so it gives it some height, because otherwise, even though the diamonds are very impressive, they would get lost within the hair. So
En idé om at montere de her sten
I like it. He's like helping her design and, talking about the angle and everything. I love it.
i et stel, så den kunne båres, altså stenen kunne båres som et diadem.
So there is the frame without the tiara on top. So this looks very simple to take on and off, which I think is great. She might even refashion the necklace or the piece itself, which is longer than the average necklace. And so she may refashion that into something as well. She might use the pieces that they couldn't use within the necklace in a bracelet to something to that effect, earrings. There are a couple of different options that you can do, but I love this flexibility here. And so as they're able to screw in some of these pieces as well, which I think is really unique. I'm not sure quite how they're doing all that, but it looks incredible. And I like how the little backers here, they're not like normal backers, like my earring backers. They look like tiaras. Don't know if that's intentional or not, but we shall see.
Det har været en meget udfordrende opgave for guldsmeden, som jo ikke har kunnet røre ved fatningerne, men i stedet for finde en løsning, hvorpå man kan.
So there is the guy who was in charge of designing it. And again, they have to secure it and everything, which is why they're screwing them in. Great pieces. I actually do have some jewelry from Ana Lucia Diamonds, if you guys are ever interested. They're not these specific ones, but I do actually have stud earrings that are two stud. They're lab created diamonds, and they do actually screw in. So it takes a little bit of time to get those on and off. So sometimes I'm like, these are just easier because I can pop them in and out really quickly. But they are screwing them in, which is similar here because they need to secure the diamonds, obviously.
Tage stenene ud af den lange kæde, bevare dem i deres fatning, og så ligesom.
So the diamonds are kind of known for what they call a rose cut, which is supposed to sort of resemble a rose. So it's a bit more of an interesting cut. It's not a typical like cushion cut or something like that. It has a little bit more facets here. Very interesting design.
Montere dem på det her stel, så vi får et diadem. Ja, Rosenstens diadem.
So there you can see again how they're securing these on here. Although I kind of imagine they might not take these on and off too much, because other than that, even Queen Margrethe didn't ever really wear this piece because it just wasn't really wearable. So because Mary has made it wearable now, we might see it just stay like this when it's in the vault even.
Systemet er snart færdigt, og det.
So you can see he has all the loose diamonds out here. I'm sure they have them numbered in a particular way, something to that effect. And so that they can make sure they can get them on in the right order every time.
Ligesom de andre dele af kronjuvelerne.
So you could see a bit here, them securing it, kind of these old claws here that hold the diamonds, which I think were probably from the original set with the original necklace. Again, we'll go into some of the details on that.
Blev båret ved helt særlige lejligheder, men ellers kan man til daglig se.
So that gives you a bit of a view of the back there, which is really amazing. Again, I love these little cubbies that they can slot the diamonds into and keep them secure there. I think that's pretty brilliant.
Se det i skatkammeret dybt under Rosenborg Slot.
Oh, and I love too, she is holding her tiara with a scrunchie. You gotta love it. You gotta love Queen Mary. It's awesome. It's amazing. And so this is just so fascinating, so exciting. Oh, my tiara sense is just like expanding and getting so excited. So again, guys, this is absolutely amazing. So let's look at a little bit of the history here, because you kind of got to understand the history in order to understand where this set fit in. So this is actually from Rosenborg Palace. So when I go to Copenhagen, I may get time to check this out. I may not because I will be hopefully covering the state visit. So that is the plan currently right now. It's looking very, very good. So this is Rosenborg, and it is about the rose cut diamond set. So they call this one mysterious. They haven't even updated the website yet to reflect its new status. If you're ever wondering, Rosenborg is a palace where all the crown jewels are on display all the time unless they're in use by the royal ladies. This is different than other royal households that do not display their tiaras and jewels all the time. So this is a very unique situation to Denmark. And so it says the rose cut diamond set was long shrouded in mystery. How was this impressive jewelry set worn? So they didn't know because again, it was too big. It was too big to wear as a necklace because most necklaces with diamonds that big, you'll notice even in the British collections and everything, are usually, take my necklace as an example. Let's put me more in the forefront for a minute. So I have my Anna Lucia cross necklace on, guys. And so most necklaces come to about here. Now you can go longer, but it's weird to have a longer necklace like that that's just like solid diamonds. That's just kind of weird. And they're bigger diamonds. And I don't think they probably set well. That's kind of the thing. So they had to change that up. So let's go ahead and get back to the article. It talks about how the set is described as a necklace and two brooches. It was created in 1840 by the jeweler firm C.M. Weishaupt and sewn in Hanau in Hesse, Germany, for Christian VIII's consort, Queen Caroline Amalie. Sorry, that was felt like a real mouthful there. Okay, so it's not a necklace though. That's the thing. It's not a necklace. The rose cut, but I mean, that's the best way we have to describe it, but it's not a necklace. The rose cut diamond set did not appear to be included in any of the preserved invoices from the jewelry firm who created the set in its current form between 1840 and 1842. For decades, the set was regarded as a long necklace with a brooch, but eventually it was linked to an invoice dated to the 29th of March, 1842 for a belt or a girdle, as it says here, which was the original intended use as a necklace. So the rose cut diamond set was designed to be worn around a corseted waist with a large pendant, previously viewed as a brooch in the middle. So yeah, the brooch, it was supposed to be worn in the middle with the necklace or the belt. The pendant can also be broken up so that the individual pieces can be worn separately as smaller brooches. So although the Danish queens continued to wear corsets as late as the First World War, the belt was not designed to reach all the way around the waist. So it's both too long for a necklace and too short for the waist. So the tiny loops on the belt at the ends of it suggests that was stitched onto the dress. And Queen Caroline Amalie's time, in addition to the narrow waist, fashionable dresses also included a long train. So fastened on the back, the train would cover this part of the waist, so the belt was only meant to decorate the front of the dress. So it didn't go all the way around, just went to the front. So Queen Louisa was aware that the set was intended as a belt, as illustrated by this large portrait that shows her wearing it around her waist. Now, they don't link that, but I will try to find that. Queen Louisa took great interest in the crown jewels and used loose pearls and precious stones to create additional pieces of the jewelry for the collection. Today, these are all displayed at Emilienburg Museum. So these rose cut diamonds, though, have a special cut that makes the individual stones resemble rosebuds. Most of the stones originally belonged to Christian VI's unmarried sister, Princess Charlotte Amalie, from the early 1700s. Like her sister-in-law, Sophie Magdalene, she specified in her will that the brilliant cut diamonds and rose-cut diamonds should be included in the crown jewels. So, what did Queen Margaretha do? Queen rarely wore the rose-cut diamond set during her reign. On occasions, she wore the brooch, including a gala performance at the Royal Danish Theatre celebrating her 50th birthday. The belt that is part of the rose-cut diamond set has not left the treasury at Rosenborg Palace since Queen Ingrid wore it as a necklace around 1950. So this set, which they don't show much of here, just this little bit that's part of the brooch, has literally not left the museum since 1950. Nobody's taken it out. And Queen Mary's like, I've seen the Dutch diamond Bandeau. I want one of my own. And honey, I do not blame you. It's a marvelous tiara. I love the tiara. I love the simplicity of it. And it's so exciting that the Danes have their version of it now, because this is really critical, because again, you need more out of a collection. And Although it's so cool, I think that Denmark allows its pieces to be displayed constantly. I think that's an amazing, amazing addition to their collection. I think it is a shame that at the same time, some of these pieces, because they were made for a previous time, are just not used because it's like, well, it doesn't totally work as a necklace, doesn't really work as a belt. Like, what are we supposed to do with it? And Mary's like, I got you covered. So exciting, guys. Cannot wait to see it on Mary. Again, I'm really thinking they released this video because she is going to wear it for this upcoming state visit. It's a much lower profile tiara, so it makes sense for a state visit like this that she would debut it because it's sort of small, but at the same time too, she needs like accoutrements that I think are reflecting of her status as queen. I really hope she retires her wedding tiara and her other tiara, the ruby one. Not that they're bad, but I feel like she needed something else because she just basically had the ruby paré and her wedding tiara, so she didn't need a third one. And although she has access to more of the collection, it's great to see how flexible the collection can be because there are so many great opportunities to wear pieces from the crown jewels, and I can't wait to see her in this. I'm like really, really hoping, guys, hoping. So we will be all covering this on Friday. It's the Saint Banquet. I don't know if I'll be allowed to cover that section of the trip. Hopefully I am because I'm very, very excited to see this as a possibility. So guys, let me know what you think of this new collection though. Let me know what you think of Queen Mary's brilliant, brilliant tactic here. I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching and I shall see you soon. Bye.
We don't count the carats, we count the centuries.